In a quiet village nestled between ancient hills and sprawling meadows, lived a young dreamer named Elier. The village was small, with cobblestone streets winding between cozy cottages whose windows glowed softly with the flicker of evening fires. The air smelled of wildflowers and fresh earth, and the sky stretched wide and open, painted in hues of fading gold and soft lavender as the sun dipped below the horizon. Elier was known for his curious heart and gentle spirit. Unlike others who rushed about their days chasing work or worries, Elier often paused, listening to the quiet sounds of the world, the rustling leaves, the distant calls of night birds, and the whisper of the twilight wind as it stirred the tall grass on the village outskirts. One particular evening, as the sun kissed the earth goodbye, Elier sat beneath the ancient oak at the edge of the village, a place he had come to think of as a friend. Its broad branches stretched like welcoming arms above him, and its leaves shimmered with the last light of day. He closed his eyes, feeling the cool breeze wrap around him like a soft blanket. It was then that he heard it, a gentle, melodic whisper, as if the wind itself was speaking just to him. It carried a voice soft as silk, urging him toward the forest beyond the hills. The forest was vast, mysterious, and often avoided by villagers who spoke of strange happenings within its depths. But Elier's heart stirred with a quiet courage, a deep yearning to discover what lay hidden beneath the ancient trees. The wind seemed to weave a story in his mind, a tale of a place called the Dreaming Glade, where the trees hummed with ancient magic and the stars gathered close to listen. It promised wonders and calm beyond anything he had ever known. The sky darkened, stars blinking awake one by one, as Elier rose slowly, feeling a steady warmth growing inside him. He knew he must follow the whispering wind. Packing only a small satchel with bread, cheese, and a flask of clear water, he stepped toward the shadowed outline of the forest, the first cool breaths of night wrapping around him like a soft shawl. His footsteps were quiet on the soft earth, and the world seemed to hold its breath as he ventured deeper beneath the canopy. Tall trees rose like silent guardians, their trunks thick and covered in moss, their leaves whispering secrets overhead. Soft glimmers of moonlight filtered through the branches, casting a silver glow that danced with the shadows. The deeper Elier went, the more the forest seemed alive, not just with animals or wind, but with a presence, gentle and watchful, like the slow, steady heartbeat of the earth itself. He walked until the path opened into a clearing bathed in moonlight so pure it felt almost like daylight. In the center stood an ancient stone circle, each stone worn smooth by countless seasons but humming faintly with a quiet power. As Elier approached, the stones began to glow softly, a pale blue light swirling around them like mist. The air was filled with the scent of jasmine and rain, and the whispering wind rose again, carrying a melody that wrapped around his soul like a lullaby. He settled down at the edge of the circle, feeling the gentle hum beneath him, and closed his eyes. The world melted away into the soft embrace of the forest, and Elier drifted into a deep, peaceful sleep beneath the watchful stars, carried by the promise of the dreaming glade. When Elier opened his eyes, he found himself bathed in soft, golden light. The forest around him had transformed. The trees were taller, their leaves shimmering like delicate crystals, and the air was filled with a gentle warmth that made his skin tingle pleasantly. In the distance, a gentle brook sang its way through the meadow, its waters sparkling like liquid silver. Flowers of every imaginable color bloomed in abundance, their petals soft and glowing faintly in the twilight. The sky above was a swirl of pinks and purples, streaked with stars that twinkled playfully. Elier stood slowly, feeling light and refreshed, as though he had slept for 100 years yet woke without a single ache. The whispering wind returned, weaving through the glade like an old friend's voice, guiding him toward a path lined with soft moss and tiny, glowing mushrooms. As he walked, Elier noticed small creatures darting about, delicate fey-like beings no taller than his hand, with wings that sparkled like fragments of the night sky. They sang in voices so clear and sweet, their songs seemed to paint pictures in the air, scenes of joy, peace, and wonder. One of the creatures, with wings shimmering like dew-kissed spider webs, fluttered close to Elier and smiled. A smile so pure it seemed to light the glade even more. It spoke in a voice like the chime of bells, welcoming him to the dreaming glade, a place where the soul could rest and the heart could dream freely. "You are safe here," it said softly. "This place is a sanctuary of light and dreams, held by the ancient magic of the forest. You may stay as long as you wish, and when you are ready, your heart will know the way back." Elier felt a calm settle over him deeper than any he had known, a sense of belonging that wrapped around him like the softest cloak. He wandered through the glade, feeling the gentle pulse of magic in the earth beneath his feet and the sky stretching wide and endless above. The night deepened, and the glade seemed to glow brighter. Stars hovered close, twinkling like distant lanterns. The breeze carried stories, of other travelers, of ancient times when the world was young, of laughter and quiet moments beneath skies filled with endless possibilities. Elier found a place beside the brook where the water sang a lullaby just for him. He sat down, letting the soft moss cushion him, and watched as fireflies danced in lazy spirals, their light gentle and warm. As the night stretched on, the dreaming glade cradled Elier in its peaceful arms. The gentle magic seeped into his bones, and he felt a deep connection, to the earth, to the stars, to the quiet beauty of being alive in this moment of serene wonder. With a heart full of calm and eyes growing heavy, Elier closed his eyes once more, ready to journey further into dreams that promised endless peace and light. Elier's eyelids fluttered softly in the warm embrace of the dreaming glade, his breath slow and steady as the night around him hummed with gentle life. When he opened his eyes again, the golden twilight had deepened into a tapestry of velvety night, with stars scattered across the sky like a scattering of diamonds on black silk. The little fey creatures were still there, flitting about like drifting petals caught on a gentle breeze. Their laughter tinkled through the air, and their glow lit the surrounding flowers and trees in a gentle, shimmering light that seemed to pulse softly in time with Elier's own heartbeat. The whispering wind stirred once again, weaving soft words around him that felt less like a voice and more like a feeling, an invitation to continue deeper into the glade's mysteries. Rising slowly, Elier felt his feet move without hesitation, stepping onto a path that glowed faintly beneath the soft carpet of moss and petals. The path curved gently, winding between ancient trees whose bark was etched with strange, glowing runes that pulsed with a soothing light. Each rune seemed to tell a story, of seasons turning, of stars born and fading, of dreams held safely through the long, quiet years. The air was thick with the scent of night-blooming jasmine and a hint of fresh rain on earth. Above him, the branches arched high, their leaves shimmering like fragments of light caught in a breeze. The sky was a dark velvet dome, but through it shone constellations he'd never seen before, stars that twinkled with stories just beyond the edge of waking. As Elier walked, the wind carried soft whispers, words woven like threads of silk, telling tales of travelers who had come before, each one wrapped in quiet bravery and gentle wonder. They had walked this path seeking peace, answers, or simply a place where their hearts might rest. The path led him toward a small hill crowned with a crystal-clear pond that reflected the stars above like a mirror. The surface of the water rippled gently as fireflies danced just above it, their lights flickering in a rhythm that matched the wind's soft song. Elier knelt beside the pond, cupping his hands to catch the cool, clear water. He brought it to his lips, and the taste was pure. Like the first snow melting on a spring morning, crisp and refreshing. The stars in the sky seemed to lean closer, as if sharing a secret just for him. He lay back on the soft grass, the earth beneath him warm and alive, the scent of wildflowers mingling with the night air. Slowly, the pond's surface began to shimmer, images rising from its depths like gentle waves of light. Elier watched as scenes unfolded, a child laughing under a sky painted with dawn's first light, an old storyteller weaving tales by the fire, a pair of friends sharing a quiet moment beneath the moon. Each image was a fragment of a dream, a memory, a hope. They drifted past him, soft and beautiful, as if the pond itself held the stories of countless hearts. Feeling the warmth of the glade seep into his skin, Elier closed his eyes once more. The stars above whispered lullabies, and the gentle pulse of the earth beneath him sang a song of endless peace. The path of starlit whispers had led him here. To a place where time slowed, where worries melted like morning mist, and where dreams were cradled gently, like the softest feather carried on a breeze. When Elier stirred again, the soft light of dawn was beginning to spread across the glade. The air was cooler now, touched with the fresh promise of morning dew. As he opened his eyes, he found himself standing in a new part of the dreaming glade, a grove filled with towering trees that stretched so high their tops seemed lost in a sky painted with soft pastels. These were the gentle giants, ancient beings older than time itself. Their bark was thick and textured, like the folds of a weathered cloak, and their leaves shimmered in hues of emerald and gold. The giants seemed alive, not just as trees but as sentinels of the forest's deepest magic. Elia reached out, his fingers brushing the rough bark of one giant, and felt a slow, steady pulse beneath his touch, a heartbeat as steady as his own. The air around him hummed with the softest vibrations, a quiet strength that made him feel both small and infinitely connected. The grove was alive with gentle sounds, the rustle of leaves, the soft drip of dew falling onto soft moss, the distant song of a morning bird welcoming the new day. Sunlight filtered through the branches, casting long, golden shafts that danced upon the ground. In the center of the grove stood a fallen giant, its massive trunk covered in soft moss and delicate flowers. It seemed to cradle a hidden world within its embrace, a secret garden filled with tiny blossoms that glowed faintly in the morning light. Elier settled beside the fallen tree, feeling the softness of the moss beneath him and the comforting weight of the giant's presence nearby. The air was filled with the scent of earth and wild herbs, calming and grounding. As he sat quietly, a gentle breeze stirred the grove, carrying with it the soft voices of the giants. Whispers of patience, resilience, and the quiet power of stillness. They spoke not in words but in feelings, lessons of growing slowly, standing firm through storms, and finding peace in the passing of seasons. The grove wrapped around Elier like a protective embrace. Here, time was slow, measured by the rise and fall of sunlight, the gentle breathing of leaves, and the steady pulse of the earth beneath. He felt his thoughts quiet, worries melting away like morning fog under the sun's warm touch. The grove's magic was a balm, soothing his spirit and inviting him to rest deeply. As the day stretched on, Elier closed his eyes once more, breathing in the gentle strength of the giants and letting himself drift into a calm, peaceful sleep cradled by the forest's ancient heart. When Elier's eyes opened once again, the world around him had shifted into a new dreamscape, painted in the soft hues of twilight. The sun had fully disappeared behind the hills, and the sky was a deep canvas of indigo and velvet, dotted with countless stars. Above, the crescent moon hung low and luminous, its silver light spilling gently over the landscape. Before him stretched a river that gleamed like liquid moonlight itself. Its surface shimmered softly, reflecting the stars and the silhouettes of trees that lined its banks. The water moved slowly, quietly, as if it had all the time in the world. The air smelled of fresh water and damp earth, mingled with the delicate scent of night-blooming lilies growing along the river's edge. Elier stepped closer and knelt down to touch the water. It was cool and soothing, slipping through his fingers like silk. As he looked into the river, he saw his reflection surrounded by sparkling stars, and beneath that, something deeper, a glimpse of dreams, memories, and quiet moments waiting just beneath the surface. The whispering wind returned, flowing softly through the trees and across the water, carrying a gentle invitation to follow the river's course. Without hesitation, Elier rose and began walking alongside the water, his footsteps light on the soft earth. The river meandered through the forest like a silver thread, leading him through dappled shadows and moonlit clearings. Along the way, he noticed creatures coming to drink, deer with eyes bright and calm, small otters that slid playfully into the water, and owls perched silently on branches, their feathers glowing faintly in the moonlight. The riverbank was dotted with smooth stones, worn soft by the gentle current. Elier paused at one such stone, sitting down to rest and listen. The sound of the water was like a lullaby, soft, rhythmic, endless. It soothed the edges of his mind and eased the tensions he didn't know he carried. As he sat, the moonlight deepened, and the stars above seemed to lean closer, their twinkling becoming a soft, shimmering glow that spread warmth through the cool night air. In the silence, Elier felt a deep sense of connection, not just to the river or the forest, but to something vast and ancient, a gentle current flowing through all things. He felt his worries dissolve, replaced by a calm certainty that all was as it should be. The river whispered stories, tales of journeys taken by the water from mountain springs to ocean depths, of life carried within its flow, and of the quiet, steady movement that shapes the world in ways seen and unseen. Elier closed his eyes, letting the sound wash over him, the cool moonlight wrap around him like a soft blanket. He breathed deeply, feeling peace bloom in his chest, spreading warmth through every part of his body. The night carried on, gentle and endless, and Elier drifted into sleep beside the river of moonlight, cradled by its soft flow and the quiet magic of the forest's heart. When Elier awoke, the first light of dawn was brushing the sky with pale shades of rose and gold. He found himself standing in a wide meadow that stretched farther than the eye could see. The grass was tall and soft, swaying gently with the morning breeze, dotted with wildflowers in colors so bright and delicate they seemed almost unreal. The meadow was alive with gentle sounds, the soft hum of bees visiting blossoms, the distant chirping of birds awakening, and the quiet rustle of the wind threading through the grasses. The scent of fresh earth and blooming flowers filled the air, sweet and calming. As Elier walked through the meadow, each step was cushioned by the thick carpet of grass and petals beneath his feet. The sunlight warmed his skin like a gentle caress, and the sky above stretched wide and welcoming. He noticed that the flowers seemed to respond to his presence, their petals opening wider as if greeting an old friend. Butterflies with wings painted in soft pastels fluttered around him, and small rabbits peeked shyly from behind tufts of grass. In the center of the meadow stood a great stone arch, covered in climbing vines and blossoms that glowed faintly in the morning light. It seemed to hum with a quiet power, inviting Elier closer. Passing through the arch, he entered a quieter part of the meadow, where the grass grew even softer and the flowers more vibrant. Here, the air was thick with a soothing magic, a place where dreams seemed to echo gently, carrying whispers from hearts near and far. Elier lay down on the soft grass, feeling the earth cradle him like a mother's arms. The warmth of the sun wrapped around him, and the meadow seemed to hum a lullaby just for him, a song of hope, rest, and gentle peace. As he closed his eyes, the meadow carried him softly into a world of echoing dreams, where the heart's deepest wishes could be heard and held gently, like the softest of feathers drifting on a breeze. The world slowed to a hush, and Elier drifted deeper and deeper into the peaceful embrace of the meadow, where time stretched on like a slow, endless breath, and every moment was wrapped in the quiet magic of rest. As Elier's eyes slowly opened, he found himself in a place where the world seemed to breathe light itself. The garden of gentle light stretched around him, a sanctuary woven from glowing blossoms, softly flickering lanterns hung from delicate branches, and pools of water reflecting stars even though the sky above was bright with dawn. The air was warm but fresh, scented with honeysuckle and soft rain. Every step Elier took was cushioned by soft moss, and the garden hummed with a quiet magic that felt like a slow heartbeat beneath the earth. Butterflies with wings like stained glass fluttered lazily through the air, and small birds with plumage shimmering in the light sang melodies so sweet they seemed to ripple through Elier's very soul. In the center of the garden stood a tree unlike any other, its trunk wide and smooth, its branches adorned with lanterns shaped like stars, glowing with a calm, golden light. Elier approached it slowly, reaching out to touch the bark, feeling warmth and life pulse beneath his fingertips. The tree seemed to whisper, not with words, but with feelings, a gentle invitation to rest, to remember, and to heal. Elier settled beneath its branches, the lanterns casting soft, dancing shadows around him. He closed his eyes and breathed deeply, letting the garden's gentle light wash over him, easing every tightness in his body, every flicker of worry in his mind. Time stretched and softened, becoming like a slow-moving river that carried Elier deeper into calm. Memories and dreams mingled here, touched by the light and held tenderly. In this garden, Elier understood that the lights were not just lanterns, they were fragments of hope, kindness, and peace carried by all who had come before. They flickered softly, a reminder that even in the darkest nights, gentle light could always be found. Later, as the day waned and the sky deepened into twilight, Elier found himself at the edge of a new clearing, a circle of quiet stars. This was a place where the earth met the sky, where the grass was soft and silvered with dew, and the horizon stretched wide and endless.
Around the clearing, stones were set in a perfect ring, each one smooth and dark like polished obsidian. When Elier stepped into the circle, the stones began to glow softly, reflecting the stars above with a quiet radiance. The air was cool and still, carrying the scent of pine and distant rain. Above him, the stars twinkled, not as distant points, but as gentle, watching eyes calm and steady, timeless and kind. Elier sat cross-legged in the center of the circle, feeling the earth solid and grounding beneath him. He lifted his gaze to the sky, letting the quiet vastness fill his senses, his thoughts slowing, his breath deepening. The stars seemed to hum a lullaby, a song of quiet strength, of enduring light, and of the gentle power of stillness. Their soft glow wrapped around him like a warm, endless blanket. In this circle, Elier felt his worries dissolve into the night air, carried away on the wings of the stars' silent song. He became part of the calm, the endless, peaceful flow of the universe. Slowly, his eyes closed, and his breath became as steady and gentle as the night. The stars watched over him as he drifted into a deep, healing sleep, wrapped in the silence and light of the circle of quiet stars. When Elier finally woke, the sun was rising again, casting soft golden rays over the forest and the village beyond. The dreaming glade's magic had not faded, it lived in him now, a quiet flame glowing steady and bright. He found himself at the edge of the forest, where the ancient oak stood tall, its branches reaching wide into the sky. The whispering wind was there too, wrapping around him like a familiar embrace. "You have walked the paths of dreams," the wind seemed to say, "and carried the peace of the forest within your heart." Elior smiled softly, feeling the calm strength that had grown inside him. The village awaited its cobblestone streets, its warm fires, its familiar faces, but he knew that the dreaming glade was always with him, in the soft breath of the wind, the shimmer of stars, and the quiet heartbeats of the earth. He stepped forward slowly, carrying with him the gentle magic of the forest and the endless calm of the dreams he had found. Elier stood beneath the ancient oak, feeling the morning light warming his face. The whispering wind wrapped softly around him, carrying the scents of pine and earth, the faint murmur of the village nearby. His steps were slow, deliberate, as he followed a narrow trail leading away from the glade. The forest seemed to watch him gently, leaves fluttering softly as if waving a quiet farewell. As he walked, Elier noticed how the world had shifted, colors richer, sounds clearer, the light cradling everything in a golden embrace. Birds sang simple, cheerful songs, and tiny flowers peeked shyly from the mossy ground. Each step felt like a conversation between his heart and the earth, a rhythm of quiet gratitude and calm curiosity. The path wound through gentle hills, where wild herbs brushed his hands, and the soft buzz of bees hummed lazily in the air. He paused often, savoring the small miracles, the dew sparkling on a spider's web, the way sunlight scattered through leaves like liquid gold, the cool kiss of a breeze on his cheek. Elior carried the dreaming glade's peace inside him, a light steady and warm, like a secret treasure no one could take away. When the village came into view, smoke curling from chimneys, soft laughter drifting on the breeze, he smiled gently. The familiar world was waiting, but he was different now, quieter, fuller, wrapped in the endless calm of the forest magic. Elior stood quietly beneath the towering ancient oak, its great limbs sprawling wide above him like the protective arms of a wise old guardian. The soft morning sun filtered through the leaves in dapples of golden light, warming his skin gently, as if the very air was infused with kindness. The whispering wind, ever present now, moved like a slow caress around his shoulders, carrying with it the scents of pine needles, wildflowers, and freshly turned earth. It was the scent of a world waking slowly and peacefully. He turned his gaze toward the narrow trail that led away from the dreaming glade, winding softly through the lush forest floor. It was a path he recognized but now saw with new ice. Each stone, each root, each sprig of moss seemed alive with a soft, glowing magic. The forest watched him with quiet understanding, its leaves fluttering gently as if bidding him a gentle farewell. The rustling sound was like a whispered promise, a gentle reminder that the glade was always there within him, a place he could return to whenever he wished. With slow, deliberate steps, Elior began his walk back toward the village beyond the hills. The path was lined with wild herb sage, lavender, and thyme growing freely, their delicate fragrances mingling and weaving through the cool morning air. Bees drifted lazily from flower to flower, their low hum a calming melody that seemed to slow time itself. Every step he took felt like a conversation with the earth beneath his feet, soft moss cushioning his footsteps, the cool touch of dewy grass brushing his ankles. As he walked, Elior paused often, not from fatigue, but out of quiet wonder. He knelt to watch a tiny spider weaving its shimmering web, the threads catching the sunlight like delicate threads of crystal. Nearby, a cluster of wild violets bent gently in the breeze, their purple petals vibrant against the green tapestry. A sudden shaft of light filtered through the canopy above, illuminating a small pool of water where dragonflies darted like living jewels. The world felt profoundly alive and endlessly kind. Each breath Elior took was deep and steady, filled with the fresh scents and soft sounds of the forest. He felt the weight of his worries lift and fall away, like leaves drifting on a slow stream. Within his heart, the gentle magic of the dreaming glade blossomed a steady flame of calm and hope that no wind could extinguish. As he climbed the gentle hills that rolled toward the village, the first signs of life appeared: chimneys puffing thin trails of smoke, the distant clatter of a woodcutter's axe, the faint murmur of morning greetings carried on the breeze. The familiar contours of the village's rooftops came into view, clustered warmly among flowering gardens and cobblestone streets. Elior's lips curved into a soft smile. The world he had left behind was waiting for him, unchanged yet somehow more welcoming now that he returned with the quiet strength of the forest inside him. With steady steps and a calm heart, Elior walked into the village, ready to greet the day with a new sense of peace, knowing the dreaming glade's gentle magic would always be a part of him. The village awoke slowly, bathed in the soft gold of early sunlight. Smoke curled gently from the chimneys, and the smell of fresh bread mingled with the crisp air. Children's laughter echoed faintly from a nearby square where cobblestones glistened with dew. Elior walked through winding lanes, noting how the small details seemed brighter: sharp earth dew on the windowsills, the glint of copper pots, the gentle swish of dresses on the breeze. Villagers greeted him with warm smiles, their eyes reflecting a quiet kindness. He paused by the bakery, where the baker, a kind-faced woman with flour-dusted hands, handed him a warm roll. The softness of the bread, the faint sweetness, grounded him further in this world, making the magical glade memories mingle with the present moment. Elior wandered toward the village square, settling on a bench beneath an old elm. The leaves whispered softly above him, and the sound of a distant bell echoed, marking the hour with a slow, steady toll. He closed his eyes for a moment, breathing in the harmony of village life, feeling how the glade's peace threaded itself through even the humblest moments. The village stirred awake beneath a sky washed in pale pink and gold. Cobblestones glistened with dew, and the air smelled of fresh bread and wildflowers. Elior wandered slowly through familiar streets, each step feeling new, touched by the lingering magic of the dreaming glade within him. Smiles met him from neighbors tending gardens or carrying baskets, and he felt a deep connection to this place, simple, warm, and alive. Elior returned to his small home, where the hearth crackled softly, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The warmth seeped into his bones as he sat beside the fire, feeling the gentle pulse of life around him. Outside, the wind whispered through the trees, carrying stories from faraway places. Inside, the quiet crackle and the scent of burning wood wrapped him in comfort, a sanctuary from the world. Drawn to the village square, Elior found the heart of the community alive with quiet bustle. Market stalls lined the edges, colors vibrant fresh fruit, fragrant herbs, hand-woven cloth. Children's laughter mingled with soft chatter as villagers exchanged news and smiles. Elior sat beneath a blossoming tree, watching the gentle flow of life, feeling the deep peace of belonging without hurry or fuss. As the sun climbed higher, Elior met with the village elder, a woman whose eyes sparkled with wisdom and kindness. She spoke of the dreaming glad's origins, its magic, and the importance of carrying its peace into daily life. Her voice was a soft melody, weaving lessons about patience, kindness, and the power of quiet moments, leaving Elior thoughtful and grateful. Elior wandered beyond the village to the rolling fields where golden grains waved gently in the breeze. The soft rustle was like a song, and the earth beneath his feet hummed with life. He paused often, touching stalks of wheat, watching butterflies drift lazily, and feeling the sun's gentle warmth seep deep into his skin, a slow, perfect harmony of earth, air, and light. Following a faint sound, Elior came upon a small stream bubbling through a shaded glen. The water was clear and cold, singing softly over smooth stones. Kneeling by the edge, he dipped his fingers into the cool flow, watching ripples spread like whispered secrets. The stream song was timeless and soothing, wrapping around him like a lullaby from the heart of the forest. The path led Elior to a vast meadow bursting with wildflowers, poppies, daisies, bluebell seach petals shimmering with morning dew. Bees droned gently, and a soft breeze carried the scent of earth and blossom. Elior lay back on the soft grass, eyes tracing clouds drifting lazily, feeling his thoughts slow and soften, carried away on the meadow's endless breath. High in the canopy, birds began their morning chorusтрals, whistles, and coos weaving a gentle symphony. Elior listened, letting the melodies fill his mind with light and ease. Each note was like a drop of sunlight, warming his soul. The song was a reminder of life's quiet joys, simple and abundant, waiting to be heard in moments of stillness. As dusk approached, Elior found a narrow path lined with glowing lantern-soft amber light swaying gently. The air cooled, scented faintly with night jasmine and earth. Walking slowly, he felt the day's worries melt into the evening's embrace. The path seemed to pulse with a calming energy, guiding him forward through shadows softened by gentle light. Under a blanket of stars, Elior settled beneath a canopy of whispering leaves. The night air was cool and fragrant, filled with the soft rustle of creatures stirring. The moon cast silver patterns on the ground, and Elior's breath deepened in rhythm with the quiet world. Here, in the hush of night, he felt the infinite peace of the glade, as if the universe itself cradled him gently. In sleep, Elior found himself beside a river that shimmered with moonlight. The water moved like liquid starlight, slow and endless. As he touched its surface, visions drifted by memories, dreams, quiet hopes each carried downstream with tender care. The river's song was soft and constant, a lullaby for the soul, guiding him gently through the night's quiet depths. Upon waking, Elior entered a garden where lanterns hung from branches, glowing with warm golden light. The air was sweet with jasmine and honey. Each lantern pulsed softly, like tiny hearts beating in unison. As he walked among them, the garden seemed alive with gentle magic, a place where hopes were tended like precious flowers and light was always near. Elior came upon a circle of ancient stones, their surfaces smooth and cool beneath his hands. The stones hummed with a quiet power, grounding and steady. Sitting in their midst, he felt the steady heartbeat of the earth beneath him, the steady pulse of time and life flowing through everything. In that circle, all worries fell away, leaving only calm. Walking deeper into the forest, Elior listened as the trees whispered stories in a language older than words. Their voices were soft rustlings, sighs of leaves, the crackle of bark. Each story was a thread in the vast tapestry of life, teaching patience, resilience, and the quiet strength of standing tall through all seasons. At night, Elior lay in a meadow where the stars seemed close enough to touch. The sky stretched wide, an endless ocean of twinkling lights. The soft grass cradled him, and the vastness above reminded him of the infinite possibilities held in quiet moments, of the gentle power of dreams cradled in the cosmos. As darkness deepened, fireflies rose in a slow, glowing dance, their lights flickering like tiny lanterns carried on the breeze. Elior watched their dance, mesmerized by the soft patterns of light weaving through the night. Their slow flutter was a reminder of life's gentle rhythms, the beauty in slow movement and the magic found in small things. Elior walked a shadowed path where light and dark mingled softly, like the fading of day into night. Shadows stretched long and comforting, wrapping around him like a warm shawl. The path wound gently, leading him deeper into peace, where even the shadows were soft and kind. By a still river, Elior gazed into the water's mirror, seeing stars reflected alongside his own calm eyes. The river was a glass of quiet, showing him his own journey every step, every breath, every quiet moment of discovery. The reflection held no judgment, only gentle acceptance. In a hidden garden, a rare flower bloomed only at night, petals unfolding slowly to reveal a soft, glowing core. Elior watched in wonder as the bloom grew, its light gentle but strong. The flower was a symbol of hope, quiet, steady, blossoming in darkness. Elior found himself in a valley where the wind was a constant, soothing presence, oft as a whisper, cool as a breath of ocean air. The grass and trees swayed in unison, the world moving gently to the wind's steady rhythm. Here, Elior felt carried, supported, as if the entire earth breathed with him. Under the full moon's gentle glow, Elior felt its calm light wash over him like a blessing. The moon's quiet strength was a steady guide, a guardian in the night sky. With each breath, Elior felt more connected to the world around him, the cycles of nature, the steady turning of time. A nightingale song filled the darkness clear, pure, and full of longing. Elior listened, letting the melody flow through him, healing old sorrows and filling spaces with hope. The bird song was a bridge between the world of dreams and waking, a promise of renewal. Walking through a field where feathers drifted lazily on the breeze, Elior felt each feather like a gentle touch, a reminder to be kind to himself and others. The soft weightlessness of feathers brought a lightness to his step and a quiet joy to his heart. Elior came to a lake, so still it was like glass. The surface mirrored the sky perfectly, blurring lines between water and air. Sitting by the shore, he felt the profound silence fill him, not emptiness, but a full, calm presence like the still heart of the earth. In a clearing bathed in soft, diffused light, Elior felt time slow to a gentle pulse. The light wrapped around him like a warm shawl, and the world felt peaceful and steady. Here, every breath was a prayer, every heartbeat a meditation. Leaves drifted down in a slow, swirling dance, painting the ground in hues of amber and gold. Elior watched their graceful fall, seeing in each leaf the beauty of change and the gentle passage of time, a reminder that rest is part of life's rhythm. Elior followed a path paved with smooth stones warmed by the sun. Each step was a grounding touch, a connection to the earth's steady heartbeat. The path felt safe and true, guiding him toward deeper rest. In a secret garden, soft melodies floated like petals on the air, songs without words, pure feeling. Elior let the music fill him, feeling his worries dissolve and his spirit lift on the wings of quiet sound. Crossing a small wooden bridge bathed in twilight hues, Elior felt the gentle creak of the weathered planks beneath his feet. The soft glow of the fading sun painted the sky in shades of purple and rose, while the water below shimmered quietly, reflecting the dance of colors above. The air was cool and calm, carrying a faint scent of earth and wild thyme. The bridge felt like a threshold not just between places, but between moments, a passage from one state of being to another. As he moved across it, Elior's steps slowed, each footfall a gentle promise to himself to stay present, to carry the stillness he had found within the dreaming glade forward into the world beyond. The quiet flow of the stream beneath whispered secrets of time and change, inviting Elior to trust in the slow unfolding of life, to embrace the unknown with a heart open and calm. The twilight seemed to wrap around him like a soft shawl, a warm embrace in the cooling air. At the far end of the bridge, the path led into a small grove of silver birches, their white bark glowing softly in the fading light. Elior paused, resting a hand on one slender trunk, feeling the quiet pulse of life beneath the smooth surface. The grove was a sanctuary, a place of transition and gentle endings, where the day could release itself into night. Elior wandered slowly among the silver birches, their slender trunks reaching skyward like white pillars of light. The soft rustle of their leaves was like whispered lullabies, a delicate murmur carried on the evening breeze. Shadows stretched long and gentle across the mossy floor, and tiny woodland flowers peeked shyly from the undergrowth. Here, in the stillness of the grove, Elior felt a profound sense of completion, a closing of cycles, and the blossoming of peace deep within his soul. The birches seemed to stand as guardians of quiet wisdom, their silent presence a steady anchor amid the shifting colors of dusk. He found a soft patch of moss beneath a leaning tree and sat down, leaning back to watch as stars began to twinkle faintly through the thinning sky. Each star was a distant spark of light, a gentle reminder that even in vast darkness, there is always brightness to be found. As night deepened, Elior rose and continued to a nearby clearing where the sky stretched wide and endless above him. The stars shone clear and bright, scattered like diamonds on velvet. The moon, a silver crescent, cast a soft, gentle light over the meadow, bathing it in cool, calming tones. The air was fragrant with night-blooming flowers, their scent sweet and soft, weaving through the cool breeze like a soothing balm. Elior lay back on the soft grass, feeling the earth steady and cool beneath him, his breath slow and even. Above, the stars seemed to pulse gently, and the silence around him was full, not empty, but alive with the quiet hum of night creatures and the vast peace of the universe. In this moment, Elior felt deeply connected to everything: the earth, the sky, the endless flow of time and light. Elior closed his eyes and let his mind drift, carried by the gentle rhythm of his breath and the soft music of the night. Memories of the dreaming glade, the whispering trees, the flowing stream, and the ancient oak mingled with the starlight and the quiet hum of the earth. He felt his heart settle into a calm, steady pulse, his worries and fears dissolving like mist. The world was vast, mysterious, and kind of place where dreams and reality intertwined softly, and where rest was a gift freely given. Wrapped in the night's embrace, Elior drifted into a deep, peaceful sleep, cradled by the universe's endless calm. When morning came, Elior awoke to the soft glow of dawn spilling gently over the hills. The sky was painted in hues of rose, lavender, and golden slow, tender awakening that mirrored the quiet unfolding of his own heart. The village below began to stir with the familiar sounds of life, the gentle clatter of pots, soft laughter, and birdsong weaving through the fresh air. Elior rose, feeling rested and whole, the peaceful magic of the dreaming glade still glowing warmly within him. With a deep breath, he stepped forward into the new day, carrying the calm, steady light of the forest and the stars inside his soul. Elior made his way down the hill, following the winding path back to the village. The world around him felt softer, more alive, the colors brighter, the air sweeter, and the gentle hum of life steady and sure beneath his feet. As he walked, villagers greeted him with warm smiles, their faces full of quiet kindness and welcome. Elior returned their smiles, his own heart glowing with a gentle joy. He knew that though his journey to the dreaming glade had ended, the magic of that place was now a part of Himan ever-present light to guide him through all his days. Back in his home, Elior settled by the hearth once more. The fire crackled softly, casting a warm glow that filled the room with comfort and light. Outside, the whispering wind carried the promise of new dreams and quiet adventures. Elior closed his eyes, feeling the steady pulse of life flowing through him, the ancient oak's strength, the stream's gentle song, the stars' endless watchfulness. He smiled softly, knowing that peace was not a distant place, but a home within. And as the night deepened around him, Elior rested, wrapped in the everlasting calm of the dreaming glade, ready to greet all tomorrows with an open heart and a quiet soul. The end.